This is Izuku Shigaraki by fangirl48, Chapter 12, Awkward Conversations. Summary. On their way to Naboo to learn about the Shigaraki brothers, All Might receives a surprising phone call. Are you gonna throw me in prison? Izuku asked, placing one of his cards down. Gran Torino cursed as he threw his own in the air, having lost another 10th game of Uno. No, Aizawa said, putting his cards down and gathering all the cards for another game. Kill me and throw my body into the ocean? Toshinori coughed blood, escaping his mouth as he looked at Izuku in horror. Why would you think that? Izuku shrugged, picking up the cards. Well, 'cause, him. The boy pointed at Gran Torino, now in full hero costume. The old man glared at him from over the Uno cards. Hey, Torino growled, looking at the boy who slammed one card at the table. I said I was sorry. Izuku snorted in disbelief, still not having forgiven the man for what happened. It certainly didn't help Gran's case that he had stuck to the youngest Shigaraki's side like glue the entire time they stayed at Toshinori's apartment. The only time Izuku got a break was when he was learning with Nezu or had snuck onto the balcony to do research that night. Toshinori put his cards down again against his chest and opened his mouth. Phone call is here. A phone call is here. A phone call is here. The Roman hero jumped in surprise, his phone ringing out while everyone raised an eyebrow at it. Grabbing his phone from his jacket, Toshinori gulped as when he saw the name on the screen. Sir Night-Eye. Sorry, guys, the blonde grinned weakly, standing up. I have to take this one. The trio watched him walk away quietly. Izuku staring at Gran Torino. What? It's just, I've seen your phone. It's all new and shiny. Izuku spoke, placing his cards, the barest hint of a smile on his face. So why the hell does Toshinori have one that's older than me? Gran stared at the boy for a second before grinning evilly and started to tell a story behind Toshinori and his flip phones. Hello, Scott, I don't know how to say his first name. Kai, All Might, the man greeted coolly on the other end. You haven't called me to make the arrangements. Now I am forced to call you. Agreements? Toshinori repeated. What agreements? Night-Eye huffed on the other end of the line. To pass along one for all to Mirio. What else would I be talking about? Scott, sigh. Toshinori spoke seriously. The hero had already talked to Torino this to get his mentor's own thoughts on Mirio Togata. Both of them surprisingly coming to the same conclusion. I'm not giving it to him. What? But why? Night-Eye bellowed in the finest thud heard in the background. He's perfect. Mirio already has a powerful quirk, and he's so much like you that he would make the perfect symbol of peace. You're right, he is, Toshinori said, watching the countryside fly by him as he stared out the window. Which is why he doesn't need my power. Young Togata will do amazing things as a hero, and one day he'll earn the title of number one on his own merit. It was true. For the moment Toshinori saw Lemillion's file, he knew the boy would do something great. Togata had the power to capsize, to become, and charisma to become the top hero, perhaps even faster than Hawks had. But if Toshinori gave one for all, then no way would happen. If Izuku was right about his oldest brother still being out there, Toguro would get caught up in the endless battle and never reach his final potential. Whether all for One was alive or had somehow figured out a way to pass his own quirk along, Toshinori couldn't say. He just knew his battle with the symbol of evil wasn't over yet. All Might. And there was something else Toshinori needed to do, along with finding a successor for One for All. He needed to help the next generations of heroes not to make the same mistake the current ones had. After Toshinori brushed with death, he realized that there need to be heroes around to pick up the slack if the worst happened. It's not that Endeavor and the others weren't good at their jobs, but crime had nearly tripled while Toshinori was forced bed rest. Not one was with not one was cooperating with each other, so they should have been. All Might was supposed to be the symbol of peace that inspired everyone to be better, to make villains think twice before they committed a crime. Instead, he had unknowingly made people too dependent on him. This was a that What's the point in pushing yourself to be better when All Might can do it for you? It was a bitter realization for Toshinori to swallow. All Might, All Might, being a teacher at UA now served a second purpose. Toshinori would search for a successor and lay the groundwork for the next generations of heroes to work together while they were still students. Toshinori, jumping the blonde, nearly dropped the phone in shock, laughing nervously, knowing pensively what Naida's face was currently making. Sorry, got lost in thought. What were you saying? I said, Naida replied, no doubt grinding his teeth. If you already found a candidate, just tell me. We can meet up and I can evaluate them for you to see that Miria is clearly superior choice. Hopefully you haven't passed on OFA yet, but if you have, it shouldn't be too much to bother them to pass it along to the right person. Find a successor. Toshinori thought the image of Izuku's smiley face popping into head for some reason. The hero shook his head. I haven't found one yet. Then what's the problem? Night said. Toshinori suddenly wondered what was holding him back. Nezu had told him that he could look through the rest of the hero students' files if Toshinori wanted, not to mention the same someone in Gen Ed and support course would also be a valid candidate given the right training. If no one caught his eye in an unbecoming new hero student, Toshinori would look at the other courses. No one hero wasn't out of options just yet, even though his time was growing closer with every passing day. I just need to make this decision by myself. Decision myself, Toshinori answered, wondering if Nana had felt this weight too. I appreciate you trying to help, but this is something I need to do by myself. Fine, Nana said, hanging up, leaving Toshinori listening to the dial tone. The blonde stayed like that for a while, rubbing the phone bridge to try and fight off some of the oncoming headache that was quickly making its presence known. Once Toshinori made his way back to the group and surprised to hear soft laughing coming from Izuku as he sat back down. And the poor president stood there looking at her empty hand was this idiot's new phone sank to the bottom of the sea. Ack, the hero gasped, some blood slipping out of his mouth. He realized the story Gran Torino had been telling the pair. What are you doing? Rise, Toshin. Gran Torino snickered, throwing some candy into the pile, his Uno cards now replaced with smaller playing cards, telling these two why you buy flip phones in bulk. I just say, I have to say, I never expected the number one hero to be so valued with technology. Aizawa hummed carefully, sliding one more candy into the pile, his eyes staring at Izuku with suspicion. Rise. It says rise, right? I think it does. You do seriously think a bomb was on that phone? Izuku patted Toshinori's hand, laying a card on the table. Call. Read 'em and weep 'em, gentlemen. Damn it, Torino growled, slamming his hand on the table with frustration. Who the hell taught you how to play cards? Was it that brother of yours? Izuku hummed, passing the red lollipop to the blonde as he grabbed a yellow one himself. Richan got bored in the hospital. Cards were really the only thing we could play to pass the time. And it helped that Richan was terrible, had a terrible poker face. Bullshit, Gran Torino said, standing up in his seat. It was weird hearing All for One being called such a childish name, but he had a terrible poker face was just ridiculous. I call bullshit. Bullshit. Ezekiel stuck the lollipop to sucked on his own lollipop and shook his head. No, seriously, he does. I remember this one time. Toshinori settles back in his seat, listening to Izuku tell them a story about his brothers happily sinking into a seat. The conversation he had with Tsunade quickly fading from his mind. Nada slammed the phone back down. Burning anger coursed through his veins as he opened the desk drawer next to him and was greeted by a blurry picture. The photo came. Did I skip a chapter? Nah, because. No, because that's. Uh, hmm. No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry about that. Go. Okay. Back to this. Sorry, people. Night slammed the phone back down, burning anger coursing through his veins as he opened the desk drawer next to him and was greeted by the blurry picture. The photo came coarsely from Miria's classmate Hanto's cell phone, hence the quality wasn't the greatest, but it clearly showed All Might holding someone in his arms, not smiling. Mirio had asked for it because he knew how much an All Might Van Nadai was not aware of the storm he was unleashing. When he handed it over, according to Marai's investigation, no new transfer students had been enrolled in UA, so whoever this was, they clearly weren't a student. Yet. Something was going on, and Marai was getting to the bottom of it. Knock knock. Knock. I don't. Knock knock. Quickly putting the photo away, Nade straightened his suit up straight. Enter. The door cracked open, and Mirio head peeked in, face lighting up as soon as their eyes met. Good afternoon, sir. I was just about to leave on patrol with Caterpillar, but thought I would bring you some tea before we left. How kind of you. Nada nodded gratefully, looking at the pile of paperwork. Thank you, Mirio. I appreciate it. You're welcome, Mirio said, placing the cup on his desk, giving a salute and turning away. I'll be off. Well then, I'll be off. Nida's drummed his fingers lightly. Mirio, just a moment. The hero paused and turned around, looking at the man. Yes, sir? Has anything strange been happening at school lately? Mirai asked. Anything at all? Mirio looked puzzled for a moment, already knowing that this possibly had to do with the picture of All Might he had gave to Sir. Thinking about the last couple of days, there was one thing that stood out in his mind more than the rest. Actually, there was one thing, Mario said, remembering the stern look on Hiroto's face as she ran off the halls every lunch hour. Najuri heard someone, the principal Natsu recently took on a student. She's been trying to find them, but so far hasn't had any luck. Mario smiled and rubbed the back of his head. It's really driving her nuts. So Tamaki and I thought we'd help her out. 6 eyes are better than 2 after all. I see, Nidai said, wondering what the chances are that Nezu's new student could be the person from the photo. If you find them, let me know. Let me know. Yes, sir, Mirio said again, leaving Nidai alone with his thoughts. Try not to let his mind drift away from him. The hero grabbed the full pile of form, the file, a full file from the pile. The words Shihazaki print Shi Shihazaki printed clearly in the front. Taking a sip of the tea and leaning back, Mirai started reading over the information on the Yakuza leader Kai Shirai. That was the end of chapter 12. Chapter 12 of Izuku Shigaraki. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry about the little pause and where I confused myself because I thought I was on the wrong chapter, but I was not on the wrong chapter. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all next week, and the link is always down in the description. If you want to go check out the author and give them comments and kudos, I'm sure they'll always appreciate it. And yeah,